Hello Year 12s. This short video is the feedback for Unit 9 from the short response AST trial you did. This is questions 18 to 20, or as I refer to them, the fish questions. What we here have is that the overwhelming majority of you got a score of 3 out of 5. So we just want to see where those other marks are missing. There was one person who got a score of 5 out of 5. You know who you are, so well done to you. Let's go through the question. It says, a species of small fish, G, lives in rivers and lakes. Under normal conditions, they do not form shoals or groups, but swim singly close to the bottom. However, when the predators, P, approach fish G, typically they form shoals and swim closer to the surface, which is a defensive strategy. Scientists investigate the behaviour formed two hypotheses. One is that the chemical substance produced by fish P is diffused into the water. When fish G detects this chemical substance, it reacts defensively. Number 2 says when fish G sees fish P, G reacts defensively. So really, hypothesis 1 is saying fish G will react defensively due to a chemical influence, and hypothesis 2 is saying fish G will react defensively due to vision. Then there were 4 experiments conducted. In the first experiment, fish P was placed in an aquarium for a time of 1 hour. Fish P was removed, and then fish G was put into the aquarium. In experiment 2, fish P was put into an aquarium for a time of 1 hour. It was then removed, and all the water in the aquarium was treated so there were no chemical substances remaining. And then fish G was put back into the aquarium. The third one was that fish G and fish P, its predator, were placed in 2 separate tanks right next to each other so they could see each other. And finally, experiment 4 said that a plastic model of the predator was put in the same aquarium as fish G. So the job was to then say, what are the results of these 4 experiments in relation to the hypothesis? So let's go through the answers. Question 18. What is the purpose of experiment 3? Overwhelming majority of you got this question right and got a score of 1 out of 1. This provides evidence to support hypothesis 2, which is that the fish G will react defensively based on vision. Quick reminder to everybody here, it can be really useful to form a well-developed answer by using the information from the question in your own answer. It can help define your ideas a bit more clearly with a bit more structure. Just something to remember. Question 19. What was the purpose of experiment 4? Well, this is where it all went wrong. The overwhelming majority of you got a score of 0 out of 1. And I'll be honest, I believe if I was doing this question, I also would have got a score of 0 out of 1, as it was quite tricky what they were looking for. So, first of all, there is evidence from experiment 4 to support that the fish G has a defensive strategy based on vision. So we can see here with experiment 4, there is evidence in experiment 4 similar to what we had in experiment 3. Many of you wrote this point. However, what it's saying here is that the actual defensive mechanism based on vision is already established. Thus, this experiment does not provide any evidence against hypothesis 1. There is no evidence against the fact that the defensive strategy could be based on a chemical influence. So what you had to say with both of these points to get the full mark. As I said, most of you said the first, but not the second. And in AST, there are no half marks. You had to give the whole answer to get the score of 1. As I said, this was a really tricky question. Last one, question 20. It said, suppose that fish G reacted defensively in experiments 1, 3, and 4, but not in number 2. You then had to say, use these results to evaluate the 2 hypotheses. For this question, again, the overwhelming majority of you got a score of 2 out of 3. So what we have to ask is, what was that last mark that nobody got? or one person anyway. Okay, so first of all, what you had to say is that experiments 1 and 2 support hypothesis 1, which is that the defensive strategy of the fish is based on a chemical influence. Experiments 3 and 4 support evidence to say that the defensive strategy of the fish is based on vision. As I said before, the overwhelming majority of you said these 2 points. That's why you got 2 out of 3. But where was the third mark? To say that, you had to say, yes, both hypotheses are supported. However, in experiment 4, there was the use of a plastic fish to represent the predator. So this could suggest that maybe hypothesis 2 needs to be broadened in some way so that the data collected from experiment 4 can be treated with a bit more accuracy. As I said, this is a tricky one. I'm a science teacher and I don't think I would have got this point had you asked me that question. So it was a pretty tough one. I hope this short video has been useful to you, and if you want to watch it again, it is up on YouTube. Just ask the teacher for the address. And the final thing I'd like to say, everybody, is good luck in your AST.